I'm ready to rock.
Nice. No, I do like this setup. You said like a Guantanamo Bay type looking
No,
thing.
that was off the record. That was off the record. No, I do feel like a Vice on-site reporter, because it is just a sheet tacked to a wall. um, yeah, I could be anywhere right now.
So Devin just moved, everyone, and undisclosed location, still in the Bay Area. Are you willing to say where you are?
I am actually living in a CIA black site.
Yes. It looks.
You know what's crazy though is that you wouldn't think that it is all black on the inside, but that's why they call it a black site, Pete. It has nothing to do with any of the other things. It's just actually all black. It's beautiful black velvet everywhere on the inside. It's very luxurious.
Well, we have not done a podcast in a while, especially not a live stream in a while. Partly because of the move, and also there were some sicknesses and that sort of thing. But man, it's hilarious how much news we missed. Probably all for the best. Like
it's
we missed Charlie Kirk. Like,
dude,
all the things that have happened.
You're gonna keep bringing stuff up, and
I know, like, where should we even jump to? But
it's gonna trigger me. It's gonna trigger my latent trauma, because it was like none of the events really traumatized me. It's the missing them on the pod that actually
I know we weren't able to debrief on anything.
It makes me to like not have debriefed them, you know, with the people. Dude, it really has felt like a fire hose of information over the last couple of months since we haven't been on a pod. I don't know where would we even start. The Charlie Kirk assassination, crazy. I mean, we could do like a deep dive pod just on that. I think probably the both of us, but good grief. I don't know. What do you got?
People... Well, I was going to say, so many people have talked about Charlie Kirk. There really is nothing more to say except for, so I won't like belabor the point, but like, except for, I think this is maybe worth saying because we're a couple months out now. And this is like maybe the hindsight moment we can give on it, is that I did kind of expect when the Charlie Kirk thing happened, like when I saw it happen and it was just so insane and people's responses to it, I thought we were going to very quickly like go into some sort of chaos where like there were going to be copycats on both sides and it was going to kind of quickly escalate. I kind of thought by now, like almost coming up on Halloween time, I kind of thought we were going to be like locking our doors and not doing Halloween. I was like worried for the country. So, and like I'm glad to know now that I think that all my expectations have been set so high for bad things to happen that we finally hit the point. We finally hit the point where my expectations are beyond reality. Whereas I used to always think like things got worse than what I expected.
Just like you're catastrophizing immediately, right? Like you're just like, well, that's civil war. You know, it's like everything. It's like you're like a frustrated mom with the dishes. You're like, well, I guess that's just it then. You know, I feel exactly the same way. It was really scary right after and a lot of people around me were really in a huff, and I thought about it long and hard at the moment because I was like, wow, you know, this is one of those pivot points where you could see there being a fault, like a fault line that was having some reverberations along it, you know, that was dividing certain people. But when I was comforting the people closest to me who were worried about what was maybe going to happen from it, I realized that the Civil War and like the idea of a civil war, it means that there's one issue that cleanly divides people, where people go, I'm either that or fuck that. And that's really rare, man. And it's not, a single person isn't really important enough to enough people that it would have really cleaved the nation in half. But it was an unused lever and cudgel for the Republican Party and for Trump that I was actually shocked to see them not just instinctively grope for. You know, you would have thought that looked like it was being postured as kind of a leveraging arm for a couple weeks there, and then somebody just decided not to, you know, call the nuclear code. And I'm like, yeah, whew, that I felt for a couple weeks we were on a little hairline there where people were getting upset, and I'm like, whoa, if Russia or China or some other disinformation factory country comes in and really starts fucking rattling people up, this could be a problem.
I do think we're still in a tinderbox on a lot of levels, not only for
Yeah.
this issue, but like multiple issues.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's nice to know, we all are at a place where we do kind of like low key live comfortable lives.
Yeah.
Even the worst of us are kind of doing okay.
Yeah.
Which isn't to, downplay that things are kind of like bad for a lot of people right now, especially
Yeah.
like immigrants and this sort of thing. I mean, I don't want to downplay any of that.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
like, we live in a pretty good time in history, all things considered. When you do
Yeah.
look backwards, shit was just way worse back in the day on a lot of levels. And like now we're pretty comfortable and we can still fuck shit up. But for now, I think that we're doing okay. And I don't know, like I'm ready for us to start actually having some technology come in our lives that do like make our lives better a little bit, because I feel like the last decade, I've been reflecting on this a little
It's a
bit.
lot of
A lot of the
stereotypes
technological advancements have
exploitative
made our
tech.
lives worse.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think that we might be, this is one of the things I want to talk about today. We might be at a little bit of an inflection point with technology itself, because we've been so just kind of like dating apps and like social media
Yeah.
and all these things that just made our lives kind of like blatantly worse. We
Very
might be at an inflection point where like technology is just moving in several new directions right now that might actually start to make life better, because technology should be here to solve problems. Right?
Yeah.
And it should make our lives better.
Yeah. Yeah, but it's man, my girlfriend says this sometimes and it always blows my mind, but it's like but what problem, like who's deciding what problems need to be solved? It's pretty important, because you think about some of like the hardest advancements are in like video and audio, like generative stuff, and I'm like, nobody fucking asked for that, man. Nobody wants that, like go solve the other problems that people are actually suffering from. Like artists don't need, like more competition in the market, like there's a set of problems that need to be solved, but there's still person or people deciding which problems get solved first, and they're fucking up, man.
This is a meme, yeah, that I see all the time online where ChatGPT in particular keeps releasing new GPTs. Like they're doing music now, Devin. So get ready. That's their latest thing, is they're gonna like start doing AI music. And people keep saying, cool, but like when are you gonna solve cancer?
Right. Right.
But this is actually one of the things that is fascinating, is that ChatGPT, I mean, OpenAI and all these tools, they are actually starting to discover novel scientific breakthroughs, which they were not supposed to be able to do. Like LLMs shouldn't be able to do that, like technically, but they kind of like are, which is crazy. And also, I don't know, like I'm seeing just like kind of exciting news continually on like the anti-aging front. One little like little note about this that's kind of exciting is that I don't know if you saw this, but you know how like right wingers forever have been saying that the mRNA vaccine, people are going to start dropping dead from it, right? Like, Brett Weinstein and all these people kept saying that. So it turns out, I don't know if you saw this. This is a story this week.
Turns out people are dropping dead.
Plot twist, it's true. No, it turns out that the mRNA vaccine, like it just like protects you from cancer itself, full stop, in general. So people who got the mRNA vaccine versus people who don't, like have just like a broad mass protection from cancer.
Whoa, crazy.
I think I'm getting this right, but like mRNA vaccines in general, they have something that can be baked into it very, very easily and seamlessly, that just makes it so that like you're low-key kind of sort of to some degree immune from cancer itself, like 20% less likely to get certain types of cancer. I haven't looked at these articles in a while. I'm ad-libbing a little bit, but it's something like that. It's like, whoa, okay, never mind. This is great.
Peter, I'm gonna be so pissed off if AI takes like the form of modern dentistry, where you're like 20 years ago, you're in the dentist's office, you're getting some shit drilled out, and you're like, bro, by the time I'm in my 40s, they're gonna be growing teeth, man. And you're like, you go to the dentist and they're like, yeah.
I know.
You're like, what? We're still doing that, like still there's no holistic knowledge around this. Like if AI and generative AI is not solving like complex systems problems, like these data centers that are going up and basically masking the recession that we're in.
Mhm.
Completely different, side topic, I suppose. But if all of this fucking water and power and human capital and resource is going into building these data centers, Jesus fucking Christ, man, what kind of species are we if we're not solving the problems that we're stuck inside of? I mean, this is priority one, brother. What, you're stuck
Let's
here. Let's get this thing figured out.
Yeah, let's real talk. Let's put just a pin in the idea of dentistry, and let's set that as the benchmark for technology. Like when technology makes it so that you never have to see a dentist ever again, that
Yeah.
means we're making progress. We're on the right path.
God, dude.
Becomes on the horizon.
You know what I mean? Yeah, I don't know. It is driving me a little insane. I mean, I personally used GPT to solve the hard problem of consciousness like 3 or 4 months back. I just haven't published yet. So like we can't get cancer figured out, people. There's people that are so this close to doing that in the first place, man. We gotta what do you think about this? This is something that I've been reflecting on because we've been doing these AI updates on the pod for years now, and it is one of these cans that keeps getting kicked down the road to have fully generative AI. Do you think that it's possible that it just is something that doesn't happen in the way that we are expecting it to, where there's a tipping point and it feels like we've created something that has super intelligence? What if this is Y2K, Peter? What if we're Y2King this? What do you think about that? I've been batting that around in my brain lately.
I do think that, kind of to your point, I think this is your point. I think that it's going to arrive in a way that we don't predict.
Mm.
That's my grand prediction. I don't think LLMs are going to get us there. I think that it's going to be something else. I mean, the experts in the field kind of like low-key say this too, that like it's going to be multiple things that like get like put on top of each other. It could be something like I think that it is like piecing these things together, piecing technologies together, and then something new becomes created from the pieces of that. So, for example, like a Neuralink type of thing that just like links to the cloud, and then all of a sudden you just think to tap into the cloud. That's revolutionary. Like goodbye school, right? And then also like we're in this world where AR and VR still progressing hugely every single year, but there's still gimmicks. There's going to become a point when that's no longer a gimmick, and so the AR, let's just say AR, does like map onto our world like very seamlessly. Maybe it's like the Meta glasses, or who knows what it's going to be, but like that will probably become a thing, and then that just gets layered on, and then like after those technologies, let's say it's our brains for somehow gets connected to the cloud that is like AI based, and then we also start integrating AR with our daily lives. It's not going to be like immediately that's going to be transformative. That's just not how this works. We're seeing this now with AI. Like it's the J curve thing where like at first your productivity goes down because you don't know how to do this, and then like after maybe a couple of years it just goes up, like way up. That's where we are with all these things. We're right now in the J curve.
Right.
But same thing when these start becoming like combined. I don't know. Like I'm just speculating, but like I see something like that where like nothing ever happens immediately. It always like tons of things pile up, and then like, oh, now we're in a new world.
It'll be so disappointing to me if that's the actual outcome, where it's like it's like the iPhone model of progress.
Me too.
It's like, where it's like one giant step forward and then like 20 small steps backward to where you're not too far from where you started again, because capitalism. I'm ready, man. Like I think the thing that I've been for me, this benchmark moment, which is probably is the irony of this has got to be like the mark of the beast in Revelations. But I'm like, when do we get the transdermal patch that's a serum blood monitor that just tells you what you are at any given moment? Like there, we have these Aura rings that are reading these like subtleties in your skin and your temperature and your heartbeat through this ring. But I'm like, man, we're just this fucking close from technology that becomes like bioreactive and gives you biofeedback in a way that changes the way humans live forever and ever and ever and ever. To know how much vitamin C is in your blood at any given moment, how much fat, how much, like what your overall, and to be shown little charts and graphs that help you visualize how devastating sugar is to your pancreas. But it's like, I think that there's enough market forces that are working against that level of awareness around what's going on inside of your body, that like it is possible that we are in some fucking weird Hunger Games scenario where we never get access to that technology because there's no market drive for it, and because this capitalist fucking hellscape isn't really pushing us towards outcomes that are meaningful to us. It's like giving us music that we aren't asking.
Well, this is the crazy thing, Devin, is that like AI, at least right now, it's available to everybody. So if one person is able to like figure it out, there is a huge, very healthy, and to some degree like semi-well-funded biohacking community. They're going to figure shit out.
You're so right.
I don't think that it's possible to keep the wraps on something. Like back in the day, this was a long time ago. I went to a conference in Oakland. This is maybe 8 years ago now. And, there was a guy there who was on stage talking about how he creates his own AIDS medication because it was too expensive to get. It's just like he makes it himself. And here, guys, here's how you do it. You know what I mean? Like, so I do think when technology does become invented, even medical technology, the biohacking community and just like the openness of resources are going to make it so that we can all at some level like kind of like tap into it. Devin, I want to do a hard pivot because I want to get to one of our topics today. I know we're going to ramble about technology forever, but okay. I have so many fun topics. We'll see what we can get through.
Really?
Today. Yeah, I have fun ones. So let me share my screen on this, just so we have a visual of some sort. So yeah, bear with me.
I expect to be delighted and amused by these topics, Peter. Big promises on offer here.
Okay, so there's a story that dropped.
Okay, yeah. Okay, delighted and amused.
Do I have your attention?
You've got my attention. Who's the journalistic? Who's got the journalistic turpitude to publish such an important story? What's going on? Who's this? The Sunday Times.
The Sunday Times. I don't know exactly even what this is, I
haven't had the pleasure of gracing their publication yet, but I like their moxie. What's going on here?
Yeah, I mean, I saw this on Twitter. I think this Times article was the original one. I think I saw this on Twitter. Like this was my intro to it.
Yeah, dude, in case the headline didn't quite drive it home for you,
the New York Post is going to be here for you. So for the audio listeners here, what we're looking at is sex warfare, they're calling it. So China, Russia send hot women to seduce US tech execs, steal secrets, and report claims. Okay, so like story is old as time, right? Like this is like James Bond shit. Like novels and movies have been written about this forever, but like kind of what's entertaining about this is just how obvious it is. If you live in Silicon Valley or San Francisco, there is a stereotype that is true that like every nerdy white guy CEO has an Asian girlfriend. That's what just kind of like hits you as amusing about this. Like, let's just say whether or not this is not true, it's so easy to imagine it being true just by the visuals of walking down the street in San Francisco. That's just so like obvious to me. What do you think about that?
This one to me is like, how like some states have like mutual combat laws where they're like, hey, if it's two grown men fighting each other, it is what it is, man. Unless somebody dies or gets really badly hurt, like nobody's going to jail on this. I feel like this has got to fall in that zone where as a society we just admit that this is like mutual combat. Like if you're like a female spy from another country and you seduce like a guy that's so horny he can't say no, I'm like, this is the ancient game, dude. You're like, this is the most ancient game. You can't begrudge these hot spies their fucking the spoils of their of their endeavors, man.
If you're China or if you're Russia, why would you not be doing this? Right?
if unless these okay, but here's the okay, I'll take the high ground here. If these women are being trafficked, which they probably in some sense are, that's fucked up and crummy. Nobody likes that. If they're consenting to be cool sex spies that are like doing cool shit in the world and like I don't know, fucking tech execs and thinking it's awesome, then but I feel like that could be maybe a cinema a filmatized version. I wonder, it's probably the reality is it's probably a little darker than that for these ladies, which is.
Did you ever see the movie Red Sparrow? Did you ever see that?
Surely,
the
if
Jennifer Lawrence film.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I actually couldn't make it through it. I made it about 10 minutes in. For some reason, just like the way it was filmed, it bugged me. But I think that was the premise of that film. So like, this is just like so great for like
she's
movies.
A sex spy.
Yeah, exactly.
Let them have their
so
secrets. Good. If a guy let this be my proclamation on this phenomena. If a guy is so horny that he's willing to spill his fucking IP for it, then like, yeah, she gets that one from you, dog. Like that was a character flaw that got exploited, my friend.
So up on the screen we have Larry Ellison, who apparently this is his wife, some Asian woman. I'm not going to fact check all these things. We're just kind of having fun with this topic here today. But so like Larry Ellison, one of the richest dudes in the world, could be married to anybody, and just the chance that is now like in people's minds that he's married to a Chinese spy, like what does that do for like his psyche and his like personal life or what? Such like bad PR for him as a human being. Also that there's many others that are highlighted in this like on these threads.
Yeah.
I genuinely wonder what it's doing for these guys, like in their personal lives.
Oh, it would be, here's the real take, right? I've had my fun. I've had my little romp through the pig pen. And I'm all mad.
It is what it is. Yeah.
But the real talk is like, fuck these guys, like these poor ladies. If they're not spies, that is so dastardly. That's so dastardly to cast these poor like women as like, these spies. Like what? That's gonna like ruin your fucking life, man. Like the billionaire, he's got $1 billion, dude. The wife, she's just the wife, man. I mean, not always, but you know what I mean. Like if that would be a shame. Although, thank goodness, New York Post and the Sunday Times. Not not where most folks are getting their news, I think, but a fun story nonetheless. And if there is some kind of cool La Femme Nikita Asian sex spy ring and they're having a good time doing it, I'm all for it, Pete. Steal those fucking trade secrets, man. Fuck these.
There was some actual reporting there. I didn't read the full articles, but there was some reporting where apparently some of this was like kind of documented. So and I think they kind of name names, so we'll kind of see where that leads. I think that's an interesting story to follow, perhaps. So like along with that, here's just like my fun story that I want to parallel that with, and we don't have to linger on this for too long because I know that we could. So this was
hot that we're sending hot American guys to go be the husbands of powerful female Chinese executives. Is that that's the return? That's the next story up. Like
kind of like almost the opposite of that, to be honest.
Seduce female executives all over Asia.
that would be the next it's the opposite of that, unfortunately. Okay. So Harper's dropped this essay this week about the Goon Squad. I think the article is just titled "The Goon Squad."
Peter, you're a dirty little dog today. Look at you, man. You've been playing in the mud.
some of these stories, like they've overtaken my feed. I know that I pulled these up because I know that you'd have some commentary. So and I do want to keep it light today.
It's about me. Oh, nice pivot. That was a good deflect. Yeah, go ahead.
Well, I have heard for probably about a year or two now that the idea of like gooning, which for all you innocent folks online, like just Google that for a second and come back. But
they all know what
they know. I know. Everybody knows. But like, this is the kind of thing is like people in my orbit, like on Twitter, like joke about it as like, oh, like the gooners, like go back and like goon or whatever. As it's like a low key insult, but it's always kind of like haha. It's interesting to read about this story, and this was like a huge essay. I read most of it. That like the dude who wrote this essay like interviewed a lot of these guys. Yeah.
Is your community like right of left trad Democrat? I want to know who's casting aspersions on the Gooners.
I won't name names in that respect. Okay. Some of the people aren't necessarily public figures, but semi-lefty, artsy-ish lefty type people. Yeah, okay. Some like people who like read and write for Quillette, that type of it.
Okay, yeah, exactly.
A little heterodox, but also just kind of like normie coded at some level. Okay, so like let me paint you this picture a little bit, Evan, because how this article starts out. This article is so well written. I will have to say, like you can get some free. You can read a couple free articles from Harper's, so you can read this for free. It's great, actually, very well written.
Okay.
The essay starts out where there are all these gooners, who are going to this particular coffee shop in Arizona to pay their respects to a dude who had just killed himself. And this is a coffee shop where the women wear bikinis. This is like a thing. So there was this guy, and they're paying respects to this guy who they're like naming as their hero, right? And so who this guy was there's this guy who rolled up to one of these coffee shops, and he rolled up like masturbating while he was at the coffee shop stand or something, like in his car. Mm-hmm. And the girl filmed him. And then
I remember this story.
Yeah, it's huge. This is a huge story. Yep. So, and then he like went down the road and like saw that it was turning or whatever and like killed himself.
Right.
And he had like a wife and kids and stuff. And he's like, I'm so sorry.
Mirror. This is Black Mirror.
Yeah, this is the full Black Mirror episode.
Is a Black Mirror episode.
Like we're living in a Black Mirror episode with this story. Yeah. Yes. So the follow-up to that was like all these dudes who like thought that he was like their king because of what he did. They are paying their respects to him at this coffee shop. This is how this essay starts. And then the guy, yeah.
What was the heroic act? Masturbating?
Getting out of his goon cave, they call it, and going to like this barista and being a perv towards her. I guess that was it. I don't know.
Damn, dude, we've come a long way since Sparta.
The interesting thing, and this is noted in the article, is that the guy may not have even been a gooner. He may have just been like a normie perv type of thing too.
Oh my God, no, Peter, that can't be the act of bravery.
No, exactly. I know. I was like, come on, guys, get your shit together. So then this essay like follows a lot of these guys and does like interviews with them and this sort of thing. And they live in their goon caves. So they're surrounded by like multiple screens, all showing porn and like just like imagery all around themselves. And they never leave their goon caves. And this is their life. And they're kind of like peaking at this.
This is their model train fetish.
I want to say one thing, because this is like an observation that nobody has said. I'm low-key obsessed with 18th, 19th century French literature. And my Substack, The Decadence Project, is actually like in reference to this.
Dude,
this is
go ahead.
This is what all of these like highfalutin French authors in the 18th century, this was actually their dream, is to have the goon cave. Because they write all these stories about how, and beautiful works of literature, right? But about how they're fantasizing about like the ideal woman, and it's always completely divorced from reality. And then like sex with a woman is always like this second tier experience compared to like the ideal that they live for. And oftentimes like in some stories they'll be dead, and then they'll finally like be able to like have their dream woman, this sort of thing. And it's so interesting, like none of this is at all new. It just used to be kind of like shrouded in poetry and like low-key philosophy and this sort of thing. There used to be a theory that I read about like when I was studying philosophy as an undergrad, about how like utopia actually is just like having sex nonstop and never quite reaching climax. And it's like by a legit philosopher. So, I mean, like, it's just kind of funny that when we kind of arrive there and now you can like do this, you can orient your life just around masturbating nonstop all the time. you see that it's actually not very poetic. It's not very beautiful. It's just kind of dumb and juvenile, right? And so it kind of makes me reflect on two things. One, like the state of the world today, but two, the state of people's imaginations in the 18th century, et cetera, when they were writing this beautiful literature, and like maybe their fantasy was just juvenile and dumb. And that's maybe something interesting to think about.
Oh, I really love that. I feel like you just like wrote an entire essay in like a couple paragraphs, because I do love. I mean,
I gotta write that down.
I think objectively you're 100% right. I mean, not objectively, but I mean from here, you know, it is. Yeah, it is always kind of weird and juvenile to have this platonic idea of a woman. You like, I think you get that. I think you get that. I think a lot of the country gets that. I think a lot of people are just more rooted and pitted in like the actual experience of here-ness and of appreciation for the thing that's in front of you, and not this like bizarre, yeah, like hedonistic platonic idea of like the sexualized woman, and how divorced from reality that is, unless you're interacting with somebody that's either performing or deeply traumatized, you know. And it's like, well, you don't really want to require that from anybody that you're relating to in a personal way. You'd like it to be more fulsome and more kind of, I don't know, man, just more charitable, going both ways than that. And there is this culture right now where like we're, and man, it brings me to one of the bigger points that I've thought about a lot over the last couple of months of not being able to talk to you on the pod, which is that like I think that there's a right-wing movement in this country around a set of reasonable values that isn't, it's unfortunately that, there's two parties, and so it gets packaged in with a lot of other bullshit. But there is like this righteous indignation that I've been hearing a lot from the right, because I do my best to actually consume right-wing news sources, not just like right-wing perspectives from left-wing news sources. And I feel like there's
Saint, Evan.
I mean, I'm trying to read the news for a living someday, I actually have this bizarre idea of giving people some kind of unbiased perspective through my personal.
Dude, AI's got you covered. Don't worry. Don't stress.
I know, right?
Don't sweat.
I know. We're never gonna need. We'll be obsolete in a couple weeks, dude.
Yeah.
But this righteous indignation that the right wing seems to have over like depravity, and that I can actually get on board with it, because they're going, well, hold on a second, man. Like, apart from everything else, if I give my fucking 13-year-old son this cell phone, which he's begging for, which he actually needs to be functionally a part of his social cohort, which is important to his growth process as a human animal, right? He's then going to have access to pornography, and to like the most violent, insane pornography that humans have ever devised, especially in the age of AI and stuff, like anything. And we've stopped shaming overly sexualized clothing in society, which obviously is creating some breathing room for women, but is also creating a bit of a debacle for all of us, I think, where in my humble opinion, the overall sexualization of the public is like at an all-time high in my personal life. Like I've never seen this much kind of sexualized clothing out in the world. And I think it's like I know. I think back to like times like,
dude, even the 90s shit was crazy. I don't know. Do you remember the tube top thing in the 90s?
I remember the tube top thing in the 90s. I remember the spaghetti strap.
I don't know.
I remember spaghetti strap gate.
I feel like we peaked in the early 2000s with the sexualization of clothing. I don't think it's actually gotten more sexualized than that. And if you look at movies too, there's like less nudity in movies now than there used to be. I think that like porn just like became a separate thing. And this is my take. I'm sure there's data on this or whatever. You may be right. It's just what I see. But like, it seems to me that like okay, here's my example actually. When you go to a grocery store, there's not even like the chance that you will conceivably see any sort of like a scantily clad woman on a news shelf.
True.
Like there's no more Playboy magazine in grocery stores. There's no more like, they might still do Sports Illustrated. I'm not sure, but even there's no more Maxim. And like, and they're gone. It's as if there's no such thing as porn anymore if you're walking around in the world. Whereas like if you go online,
It's
It's the
everywhere.
opposite of that. So like in my world, and I've had this as like a thought in my brain for years now, that like the real world is sanitized, but the online world is just like a veil that's like right behind that veil is all just like
Yeah.
porn.
Yeah, and maybe
That's been my observation. I don't know.
it really, like, when you describe it that way, it sounds so much like the zeitgeist for
Yeah.
humanity. Like the internet then just functionally is the zeitgeist because it's the unnamed forces that are kind of, controlling the soup that we all relate to each other.
Can I give you one more take, Devin, that kind of like goes along with like what you're saying with the right wing folks?
Let me put a pin.
Maybe.
Let me
Yeah.
let me
Yeah.
put a
Yeah. You have okay.
just to say that I in a time where everything is so divisive, you have to challenge yourself to try to understand why the perspective of the other side could be salient to them, even if
Yep.
you don't agree with it on print, even on principle, right? Like you can't even understand it philosophically. You do have a responsibility to try to understand at least how someone could relate to that perspective. And that part of the Republican platform is something that I actually can empathize with, where they're just like, damn, dude, like I'm trying to raise a family and I'm trying to just do like the stupid, like wholesome basic bitch version of American life where I have like all just the regular ass shit, and like all this crazy, this deluge of like pornography and depravity keeps like sloshing up on the shores of my home, and I've got to like pick it up like it's litter, and I'm like, you know what, dude, I'm a weirdo. I'm a freak, like that shit is all like my milieu. I live in that kind of world of of understanding all that stuff, blah, blah, blah. And I'm fascinated by it. But for a person that just wants to have a very regular experience, like this country should also provide people like the the second gear version of American life. Not everybody needs to be high octane, a futurist about the way that they're living their life. There should be some insulation and protection for people.
Well, I have one more take, and
Yeah.
then we move on to a less depressing topic. But
Oh.
so my last take about the Goon Squad is that I kind of think it's a little bit of a distraction from the broader point, and that like it kind of low key doesn't matter if people are holed up in their rooms doing this goon thing, or hold up in their rooms playing video games, or hold up in their rooms drinking beer and watching sports, or
Right.
hold up in their rooms with their tech startup, et
Right.
cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
They're holed up in their rooms.
We need a society where people start procreating again, like full stop,
Yeah.
because
Yeah. Yeah.
we're gonna cease to exist as a species in 100 years or 200 years if our birth rates keep declining at the current rate. And that's what matters here. I think that like having healthy relationships, having this, having that, having low housing prices, etc. Like we just need to have some goddamn kids. Then we'll figure it out from there. Like we'll figure out the healthy relationships. We'll figure out like online porn. Well, but first I think we need to figure out like how to make it so that it's possible to have children again and that people want to. And I just think that maybe this all plays into it at some level, but like that's the main ball game in town. I think is just having kids. I think is just the main thing.
People are having such a hard time relating to each other right now, Pete. It's something that I think about as like a person that is, works pretty hard to be a community leader and just a leader for the young men in my life, and generally like my broader musical community too. I do my best to think of ways to bring people together, and the thing that I find is the highest resistance to that project at this moment in time is that people have really the muscle of overcoming the uncomfortability of conversating with someone is
Yeah.
really starting to collectively atrophy. And there's like, it's not really that complicated, but you can make it feel as complicated as you want it to in order to avoid it. And that's what's going on with these dudes that are staying in their rooms, man, because it's like when we were kids, Pete, we were taught, and maybe this isn't the right way to think about it, but it's the truth, that you're just going to have to battle the fucking minefield of shame of talking to girls, man. Like it's brutal. it's not like a chill experience. Like you don't, I mean, how many times you
There
ever
was just
walk up?
nothing else, right? Like it was that was just what you did, is you just talked to girls,
Yeah,
right? Because
it
like there was
always,
so much social standing in it. Like, oh, you know, if
yeah,
you had a girlfriend, oh my god, like you had so much like higher social rank in high school than if you didn't. You know what I mean? Like there's a lot of
and it was
society was
brutally
oriented
uncomfortable.
around like having a monogamous relationship that led to
Right.
children.
And like and so you just had this awareness that there you're gonna have to brave this deeply uncomfortable valley, and like all of the coming of age movies really were, that was the central point, was like you gotta
Every comedy basically too. Yeah.
yeah, like you gotta just talk to the girl, dude, you're gonna look
Right.
like an idiot. And then there was this kind of gracefulness on the other side, which maybe was feigned or forced or not what was desired, but there was at least some performance of grace on the other side, where the chick is acknowledging like, oh, this guy's an idiot, but I'll let it live. We'll see how this goes. I'll let it play out for a moment or two, and let it kind of take its course. And now there's so much expectation and burden and shame, and there's so much leveraged on every social moment for people. And there's got to be a way that we get back to these people, and just kind of illuminate the lowness of the stakes of going out and talking to women or talking to other people. It's like, hey man, like everybody's thinking all the entire time, everybody's thinking, ooh, should I end the conversation now? What about now? What about, was that it? Has it gone on too long? Are they a little uncomfortable? It's like, that's going on for all of us all the time. That doesn't stop you from going and doing it. Like you'll find your flow, you'll find your way to do it, but you can't just hide from the world and beat off all the time. God damn it. Like 50s dads had something, right? Get out, like, can't just stay in there beating off all the time. Get out.
Okay, well, good news, Devin, because the internet is officially dead.
Okay.
And so we're going to have to get off it eventually, because there's going to be nothing more. There's going to be nothing left other than just AIs talking to each other. And so this is the next story that I want to pivot to. So a couple of takes here, but like, so there's this new company that lets you control thousands of social media accounts with AI. I think this costs like couple $1,000 or something to do, maybe not that much, but it's like, it's not free. So it's not gonna like flood the internet immediately, but this is apparently a thing now. And this is just like another story of the dead internet phenomenon. And I'm sure you know about this, the idea that there are more bots online than there are people.
Right.
So there's one more thing I wanted to pull up here if I can find it. Here we go. Okay, so this just happened this week, along with this like new company thing, and I'm sure multiple more companies that let you just like control bots online. This happened where AI content, which is this red line here on this bar that I'm showing, it now exceeds the amount of human generated content online. So we live in this world where social media is going to be overtaken by AI bots, already is, obviously.
Right.
And also all like the content that, is the baseline for why we go online in general. Now it's all going to be made by AI as well. So basically every time you as an individual human being goes online, you're going to be interacting with nothing but AI slop.
Sure.
Whether you're on social media or on like any given like content related website. So this is this is already here. Like this is here, and this is like where the internet dies.
Which I think is fine, man. We go through these cyclical iterations of the marketplace for human attention. And every time the marketplace or the venue changes, everybody thinks that it's going to be the end of this or the end of that. And it's like, well, as long as attention is the thing that's being traded as the primary commodity in human experience, which arguably kind of undergirds all commerce between humans, is some kind of attention-based phenomena, like it's just going to keep switching venues as they're going to become obsolete. And there's going to be a whole, like when AR, I mean, I'm talking about fucking AR contact lenses for like 10 years now, dude. I'm like, let's go, come on. Like get it together, man. Like, this is such an obvious endpoint for this technology, or beginning point for like an entirely different marketplace of human attention. And I think it's going to be like the PlayStation model, you know, where it's like each new system that comes online has to generate its own set of titles and apps. And we've been locked into these phones for a while because the market forces really are resistant to driving us to a different mode of consumption. But that's not more than 10 years away. I mean, our kids are not going to be looking at phones. Like,
Yeah. Oh, dude, I totally agree.
bizarre. It's
And
already
I think that there are going to be walled communities online. Substack
Yeah.
tries to be this already,
Yeah.
where it's just like people police each other on if they're using AI slop. And so like it's like anathema to use any sort of AI on Substack, at least the little cohort that I follow on there. And like even just like I'm totally like pro, you know, using AI art as a tool for like, you know, but just using it for, you know, pulling up AI and then using that as a profile image or whatever. Like it's super bad. Like nobody likes it and it's shamed out of existence. And if you catch someone writing AI slop on Substack, like you shame them, right? That's just like the culture there. And I think that there are going to be communities like that exist online. But I mean, in terms of like the big platforms, like Twitter's done, you know what I mean? Like all the micro blogging sites, AI can just game that shit too efficiently. And I don't know, it gets tired. And a lot of young people aren't even on the micro blogging sites. Like it's kind of like a millennial phenomenon anyway. So even without like this dead internet theory thing, 20 years from now, the younger generations, if they don't catch on to microblogging, it's just gonna be a dinosaur anyway, right? So I'm totally okay with these things evolving. I don't think that we need to like stress about this necessarily. Just like let the shit play out, let it play its course. If the internet's gonna die and it's all gonna be overtaken by AI bots, let it die, and like we'll move on to something else because like we're still gonna be here. And this is like a theme that I always come back to, is that we never arrive anywhere. It's never like, oh, this is the technology, and now this is it. It's like shit gets boring, and new generations pop up, and kids want something that kids always cringe at what their parents thought was cool. Always will happen, and always, you know. So yeah, that's just gonna keep on going. We're never gonna arrive anywhere. And like Twitter was not like an arrival of a thing. It's gonna go away, and other shit will take its place. Same with like basically everything that we knew and love as a child. It's going to go away, and we should be totally okay with that.
Something that we've all collectively lost, and I think it's probably just a blind spot in like the human evolutionary psychology, where we're iterating now so quickly that the process of normalizing those iterations is becoming more locked. And we're just, you know, it used to really hit like a technological advancement used to hit society in a big long wave with a big long tail.
Yep.
You know, and it would have all of these people that it would pick up really kind of like 2/3 of the way through the process of everybody else picking it up. Most people were late adopters. And like you can't really do that much unless you've got some kind of really dialed in embedded income stream or something. Like society and reality are now forcing you to you know, kind of increase your ability to normalize things quickly and efficiently. And it is something that we all lose collective perspective on, that social media was the first thing that globalized our social consciousness. The first thing.
I did.
That's the Model T, man. Like the internet didn't do that. Social media did that. Facebook really in particular, you think about that, that's the Model T.
Yes,
you know,
totally.
like that's the bare bones basic, gets you from A to B going 15 miles an hour thing. Like 20 years from now, man, like the globalized social network, or maybe what will eventually just become the zeitgeist, probably is something that looks a lot more similar to Neuralink or an AR lens that allows you a deeper level of contact with the people that you're, you know, like people are so obsessed with this idea that social media separates us. And I'm like, but it, but it joined us. You know, I'm like, yeah, maybe in your individualistic experience, it's separating you from people because you have an addictive sensation when you're using it that you don't have a lot of control over. But like, the actual vehicle itself has been the first thing in the history of humankind that has connected the social consciousness of the entire globe, like it's gonna be a little fucking blocky, dude. You know, like the Wright brothers didn't build a B-52. You know.
Totally. Yeah, 100%. I did want to what I have up on the screen right now is apparently some new take on like the retina thing. I just want to throw this out. This is just something that we do talk about a lot about. So maybe this was some sort of like a real advancement. I just saw this on Twitter, so who knows what this is. But it says researchers have created a screen the size of a human pupil with pixels measuring 560 nanometers wide. The invention could radically change virtual reality and other applications. So it's called like this retinal e-paper thing. Oh. And instead of traditional pixels, it uses metapixels made of tungsten oxide that change color like bird feathers. No blacklight backlight needed. Who knows? Like, I don't know. I'm just seeing this. Apparently some what was it? Swedish researchers.
I'll say this, Pete.
I mean, who knows? But like, yeah, shit could get weird fast.
I'm starting to see, and I think that the AI tile was really like the first attempt, and it was just too early because we're all having Siri level experiences with GPT still, where we're like, man, come on, you know, like I need to talk to a person. Like it's not even like talking to like a 10-year-old, you know. It's like a 10-year-old can kind of pick up the clip and kind of stay with you for shit and be kind of locked in. And it's like we're all still having these really blocky experiences with technology, and it's got to smoothen out for it to be like this whole symbiote kind of concept of technology. Everybody's got this Batman version of it where it's going to be like cybernetic limbs and stuff. And it's like, dude, that's not going to be a thing it'll take several.
You know what we need, Devin? You know we totally need? We need a couple more like Steve Jobses out there. People who just like really get what it's like. And maybe it's just like all the art tech CEOs need to do more acid trips like he did or something, right? Because he got it. Like he got what it was like to have technology marry how we live and not like have to change how we live around technology. Like he got that so well.
So well, man. And it does somebody needs to be on that level. I think we were saying it before the pod popped, but that like the real geniuses of all of these major innovations, they're all just geniuses on getting people to think that it's cool and enjoy the experience of either buying it, opening it, or wearing it. And like, to me, the contact and the little lav microphone sticker, I think that's it, man. Like that's probably the cell phone. That's a whole era of humans interfacing with technology. And then 2 generations down, when kids are really used to that, they'll go, well, just put it in me. But like you and me, our kids and stuff, like a contact lens and a little lav mic sticker, that fucking technology exists right now, dude. That's really all I think that's all, and a GPT that's conversationally adept. I mean, we'll be living in a fucking.
Devin, you're forgetting one thing. This is my last topic. I got about 5 minutes, and I gotta jump. But like, I want to hit this last topic real quick. The humanoid robots. I keep seeing this everywhere. This dude saying everybody's gonna have a humanoid robot best friend, lover. I wanted to actually share this. Let's see. I think this is the one I wanted to share. So you can like now buy these dudes, these little robot dudes.
Okay.
China is releasing these like crazy, and you like Walmart.com is now selling these little guys. Okay. So I want to hear your take. I am still bearish on this technology in that like I think that these humanoid robots are going to be very useful in factories and for like job places. There already are like obviously a lot of use cases for this, maybe like old folks' homes, this sort of thing. But like as a thing that you just keep around your house, I don't see the use. I don't see like it's going to be a gimmick. Like people who develop technology, speaking to people who aren't Steve Jobs, they love coming up with gimmicks. People don't like gimmicks, like unless it actually solves it. Like you were saying earlier on the pod, like a real problem. I don't think people are going to use them. And I just do not see how this is like, oh, it's going to fold my laundry. Who gives a fuck? I like folding laundry and it takes 5 minutes. Like I'm not going to spend $30,000. Like you can have for $30,000, you can get a house cleaner come to your house like once a week for like 5 years. You know what I mean? Like that's a ton of money for something that is just going to like get in the way and like probably break all the time. I don't know. Like I'm not sold on this as something that people are actually going to like be excited to have in their homes. maybe decades from now, when this is like just completely seamless and it folds up to a little box in the corner, you don't have to like look at it all the time unless you want to summon it to like do something specific for you. But like, dude, I don't know. I'm not sold on these.
First. They're gonna kill you first. You're like, go be in your little, go, don't shame my house with your human form. Go hide in your little cube. Robot scum.
Well, what do you think? Like, real talk. Like, do you think that this is like? Would you personally have? Would you spend, let's say, $10,000 to have one of these things like in your house? Like,
look, man, anybody that's uneducated enough to be propagandized by the idea of this is going to be naturally suspicious of it. So, first of all, if I can't sell a waffle on a stick in Montana because it's too conceptually difficult for people to understand, I think a humanoid robot for anybody in the middle of the country is going to be a cold fuck no today. And then I think that honestly, for folks who are educated enough about technology that understand the security implications of a device like that,
another great point. Yep.
It's not even really so much that like you think it's gonna go iRobot on you, although it could. It's that we don't have encryption protocols that are unhackable yet. There was this vision of unhackability that was sold to us maybe 5 or 10 years ago, where we were all given this beautiful idea that the blockchain was going to create, you know, basically unhackable systems, and the blockchain was going to be used to kind of fortify all these different security protocols, which maybe it is behind closed doors. To me, it seems like everybody's still getting hacked all the time, and that it's just recently that, you know, these EVs are getting hacked, and that they're fucking you know, in the Internet of Things. And I think anything that's in the Internet of Things, like, I'll give you an example. I have these little you know, you put like your coffee machine on a timer and I'm like, let me get a digital one, but it's an app, and that app is a Chinese app. And every time I fucking open that app, I think, bro, they know, you know, some diplomat.
That's like your Obama voice.
Some diplomat is smoking a pack of cigarettes, and my electricity usage here in Emeryville is pinging some fucking square on his Microsoft Excel sheet, you know, for some reason. You know what I mean? I think like the permeability of our data systems right now is too high to trust something like that.
Okay, well, I just want to, just, I'm running out of time, I'm gonna stop you a little bit. Like, I do think we're already surrounded by things that listen in to us and hear us. So like, even though there are security concerns with this, like, it's just one more layer of a security concern. So like, to me, that wouldn't be, but let's just say hypothetically, they solve every problem with this thing, right? Like, security wise. And maybe it's not $10,000. Let's say it's like $500. Would you still even want one? Because like, I wouldn't. Like, I would, like, it's cringe
if
to
it
me.
Was GPT
it's annoying, obnoxious.
Bro, if it was GPT level smart, I would fucking pay. I'd pay every dollar in my bank account.
But like, for what? Now. Like, what would it do for you that you can't just talk to your phone and get GPT for?
Go do me a favor. Go clear up my hard drives. Go migrate all the data that I'm not using over to this thing, and start editing these videos that I've got.
Dude, but that's not a robot. That's like your computer. Your computer is the one that would be doing all that. It wouldn't be a robot. Right?
But you still need something that interfaces between all of your little tech ecosystems.
ChatGPT is trying to do that because they're trying to, like, I don't mean to cut you out, because like, you are on the right track here. You're going down the right way, I think. But like, for me, that's what ChatGPT is trying to do already without like a physical robot.
It is, but it's too proprietary. They'll never have the software access to everything that I do. Like,
that's true. That's totally true.
GPT will never be able to like access like Adobe Premiere, or it probably will, but
it will actually. Yeah. Have you seen what, like, it has Canva now? It has like,
it'll cost somebody $20 billion. You know what I mean? But a little robot that can go and use my keyboard and just do shit for me, and like, hey, dude, go put a pot of water on. I'm trying to make some pasta. You know, something that could cook for you, brother. Are you kidding me? Something that could take all of the inefficient little bullshit time, and like, not the thing you'd think of it as like, you know, Michelangelo. How many assistants did Michelangelo have? How many assistants did Warhol have? You know, it's like, it's not like it takes the joy out of the act of creation for you. Like, you can fold the laundry, but maybe it fucking separates it for you, so you don't have to do the shitty part. It's like it does
So
all the
I
shit.
am you are actually selling me, Devin, and I'm kind of with you, but like my problem is that
Yeah.
like the thing you're talking about still might be 20 years out. Like that's not what we have available today, right?
The
You know what I
dental
mean?
model. I don't want to be on the dental model. Let's think of two models real quick before you go. So if it's the dentistry model, what's the thing that goes shockingly fast? What's the thing that every time you look twice at it, it's like 5 times more advanced than the last time you checked on it? Is there anything even like that, or is everything just so bureaucratic and incremental in this fucking world?
Well, I had one more thought about the robot while you ponder that, which is like
Yeah.
this. So this one is being marketed as like a toy for children.
Mm-mm.
Whoever like did this doesn't have a child, because a child is like, the more expensive of a toy it is, the less interesting it is after like 5 minutes. Like this would be fun for five
Whoa,
minutes, and then your kid is going to be bored with it and moving on to the
that's
next thing.
awesome.
Like I have to tell my daughter's grandparents not to get us expensive toys because of the most boring ones. The cool things are like card games and like board games. Like you should see how many hours of enjoyment we've gotten out of like Candyland, the little $5 board
Yes,
game.
dude.
You know what I mean? Like kids don't like expensive toys, and this is just an expensive gimmicky toy that's going to just like collect dust. I don't know.
I mean,
It's
think
just not
about
here
this.
yet.
What are toys, man? Toys are supposed to be illustrative tools that illuminate a part of the human experience for a child, right? Like that's like what a toy is, whether it's motor
Mhm.
movement, but like board games, like you're never going to motivate children to be obsessed with crap, dude. Like they're always going to be deeply motivated by unpacking the motivations of the people around them. Like we're
Mm.
hardwired for that, man. It's what it always gives me hope for the future, is that we're hardwired with certain motives that are just by their very nature anti-technological. And I just, it's going to take a long time for us to have this like sci-fi symbiote kind of relationship with technology. Like we're still very humanistic as a species.
The current prediction is like a year from now, we're all gonna be walking around with these little robots in our homes. I want to come back a year from now and see if like my skepticism about that is true, because I think that it's gonna be true. I think that these are probably gonna be all over like factory floors, all over like
Oh,
maybe like
surely.
fast food restaurants. I think that that's totally fair game. In terms of like people having them in their living room as like a dog that you can talk to, I don't know, man. And I do not see it. I don't see it. That's like
Yeah.
a generational thing. Like maybe in next generation, for some reason,
Yeah.
they'll find some use for it when they've given up
Well,
on human relations.
they'll find the use case that situates with people's psychology. That always happens with products. It'll eventually happen with the product. It'll just take time. It'll take time in the right marketing mind, whether it's an AI mind or a human mind, to find the interface point where people go, "Oh, it's like a Tamagotchi." Like I love Tamagotchi, or it does this for like for you, where it's like, hey, it'll prep the veggies. It'll cut the veggies. You can put them in the pan. You can put the salt on and that's the commercial, right? It's
Well,
like
I
you
remember
get to
watching
do the
this.
fun creative part.
I remember watching this video a little while ago that was like, oh, like South Korea, they're so much more advanced than us. And there's this video where this girl, and like her little micro
Oh,
kitchen, had
yeah,
all these little things,
gadget.
and this thing did
Yeah,
this thing, this gadget did this
yeah,
thing,
yeah,
and she had
yeah.
like 20 different gadgets, and they all like made whatever
Right.
step she was taking like 5 seconds more efficient. But
Yeah,
then like the first comment that everyone liked was like, I don't want all these like shitty cheap plastic gadgets cluttering up my kitchen.
yeah.
It's like, obviously. Like,
Yeah, stop solving the problems. Nobody,
give me a knife and a pot, man. I'll make you a delicious dinner. Like,
final note. Karen says, I think Karen's right. I think of this as a boys. We got to talk to our boys. This isn't women. Women are
yeah,
not
dude,
solving.
oh, that's another. Oh, sorry to screw my microphone. That's another topic that I want to save for another day. That's a full
Yeah,
topic. There is this article by
yeah,
Jerusalem Dimsis that was out on her new publication. The argument is great article. I wanted to get her on the pod. I reached out to one of her editors, have not heard back, but I want to talk about how like there is data on that, like women are not into tech and dudes are, and so like every tech advancement is driven by like dudes and their love for gimmicks and shit
and it's
and
crazy.
gadgets. So I want to talk about that.
So
I want to break down
bad.
this article. It's a fascinating topic to me.
We got to go into it. We got to have Karen on as like
Yeah.
because because realistic. I mean, this is a drum that she has beaten, which is that like these boys need to stop solving these problems that nobody has.
I want to hear it. Absolutely. That's very good. Cool, man. I got to bounce. Good talks. Good to be back podcasting with you again.
All right, Pete.
Till next time.
Later. Yeah.